Opening shot of an elegant wedding venue. A grand hall filled with guests, music playing softly in the background. The camera zooms in on a well-dressed man and a homeless woman entering the event. Narrator, what happens when a millionaire brings a homeless woman to his ex-fiancée's wedding? No one could have predicted what happened next. Cut to the millionaire, a sharply dressed man with a confident look, walking in with the homeless woman, who's clean but clearly not in a glamorous outfit. Narrator, meet Ryan, a successful businessman who has it all, except for love. He had once been deeply in love with Sarah, his ex-fiancée, but their engagement ended in heartbreak. Now, after years of moving on, he's invited to Sarah's wedding, but not alone. Ryan's plus one? A woman no one expected him to bring. Meet Laura, a homeless woman he had helped months ago. And their connection? It's unlike anything you've ever heard before. Cut to the wedding guests whispering and gossiping as Ryan and Laura walk in, drawing curious glances. Narrator, when Ryan invited Laura, people were shocked. After all, she wasn't the kind of person they expected to see in the midst of a high-society wedding. But what no one knew was that Laura wasn't just some random woman. She had a story, one that would turn this wedding upside down. Cut to Laura sitting down quietly, observing the wedding, while Ryan talks to some of the guests. The camera zooms in on Sarah, the bride, looking uneasy. Narrator, Laura wasn't just invited as a charity case. She was there because she had helped Ryan rediscover what really mattered in life. You see, while everyone around him was focused on wealth, status, and appearances, Laura had taught him something far more valuable: humility, kindness, and love. Cut to a flashback scene showing Ryan helping Laura when she was struggling on the streets. Laura is emotional as Ryan offers her a warm meal and a place to stay. Narrator, Ryan had met Laura when she was homeless, desperate, and at her lowest point. He could have just walked away, but instead, he chose to help. Little did he know, that act of kindness would spark a deep and unexpected connection between them. Back to the wedding reception, where Sarah approaches Ryan and Laura, looking slightly uncomfortable. Narrator, as Sarah approaches them, the tension is thick in the air. What could she possibly think of Ryan bringing someone like Laura to her big day? Sarah and Ryan exchange tense words. Laura, however, remains composed and calm, a silent strength in her presence. Narrator, but what happened next? It was nothing short of shocking. Laura did something that stunned everyone at the wedding and changed the way people looked at Ryan, Sarah, and their entire world. Laura suddenly stands up, grabs the mic, and addresses the room. Narrator, without a second thought, Laura stepped up to the mic. Everyone held their breath, wondering what she was going to say. Cut to the guests' shocked faces as Laura speaks into the mic. Laura, voiceover. I know I don't belong here, but I belong somewhere. What I want to say is that true love isn't about money, status, or appearances. It's about respect, kindness, and the courage to stand by each other, even in the hardest times. I may not have the life you all expect me to have, but I have something that none of you can buy: true happiness. The camera shows Ryan's proud smile, while Sarah is left speechless. Narrator, the room was silent. And then, something unexpected happened. Ryan and Laura's words left everyone rethinking what truly mattered in life. Would Sarah and Ryan's past come to light in a new way? Would this be a turning point for them both? Narrator, after the wedding, Ryan and Laura walked away from the chaos, their bond stronger than ever. The guests might have been shocked, but for Ryan, Laura was the one person who had shown him what really mattered. She wasn't just a reminder of his past kindness. She was his future. Cut to a montage of Ryan and Laura spending time together, sharing moments of laughter, deep conversations, and simple joys. There's an unspoken connection between them. Narrator, as Ryan got to know Laura more, he realized something that had eluded him for years. The perfect life he thought he wanted, filled with wealth, prestige, and fancy parties, wasn't the answer. What he had with Laura was real. It wasn't about the money or the glamour. It was about being seen for who you truly are. Cut to a flashback of Ryan and Sarah's engagement. They're arguing about a business deal, showing a stark contrast between the connection Ryan has with Laura and the tension in his relationship with Sarah. Narrator 2. Looking back at his past with Sarah, Ryan understood something painful. His relationship with her had always been built on the wrong foundation. They'd been more focused on what they could offer the world, not each other. But with Laura, it was different. The scene transitions to Ryan meeting with Sarah after the wedding, in a quiet, almost somber setting. Narrator 2. A few days later, Ryan met with Sarah. She had questioned so many questions. But what he told her next would change everything. Cut to Ryan speaking to Sarah, his tone serious but compassionate. Ryan voiceover. I thought we were meant to be, Sarah, but I was wrong. I was chasing the wrong dreams. I needed to learn what real love is. And it wasn't something I could find in all the luxury and wealth we surrounded ourselves with. It's in the simple moments. It's in how someone looks at you when no one else is watching. Sarah looks down, struggling to come to terms with his words. She seems hurt, but also reflective. Narrator 2. Ryan's words hit Sarah hard. She had always wanted him to be someone he wasn't, someone she could control. But Laura had helped him rediscover the freedom to be his true self. It was a painful realization for Sarah. Cut back to Laura and Ryan, standing together, looking out over the city at sunset, their arms around each other. Narrator 2. As for Laura, she never wanted anything from Ryan. She simply wanted to live her truth and help him do the same. And in doing so, she showed him that sometimes the people who have the least can offer the most. Scene transitions to a few months later. Ryan and Laura are volunteering at a shelter, helping others in need, surrounded by people who genuinely appreciate their kindness. Narrator 2. Months passed, and the world around Ryan and Laura continued to change. They weren't living in luxury, but they found something far more precious: purpose. Together, they volunteered, worked to make a difference, and slowly built a life that wasn't defined by status or money. Cut to a final scene of Ryan and Laura sitting together, watching the sunset, happy and content. Narrator 2. In the end, it wasn't the million-dollar homes, the fancy cars, or the glamorous parties that brought Ryan and Laura happiness. It was the simple acts of kindness, the love they shared without expectations, and the freedom to be themselves. And maybe that's the real fairy tale. Final scene of Ryan and Laura laughing together as the screen fades to black. The words, "True love doesn't come with a price tag," appear on screen. Narrator 2. So, what's your take on this unexpected twist? Could Ryan's life have turned out differently if he had stayed with Sarah? Was Laura the catalyst for his true transformation? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Narrator 2. As Ryan and Laura built their new life together, they became more than just a couple. They became a force for good. Together, they inspired those around them to believe in the power of kindness, giving, and human connection. They weren't just helping the homeless. They were helping everyone who had forgotten what it meant to live with purpose. Cut to a scene of a young woman, once a guest at the wedding, now volunteering alongside Ryan and Laura. She approaches them, clearly moved. Young woman, smiling. I can't believe how much you've changed my perspective. I always thought I needed to chase success, but after hearing your story, I realize I need to chase meaning. Narrator 2. Ryan and Laura's story was spreading, and it was changing lives. More and more people who had been caught up in the cycle of wealth and status were beginning to question their own values. Ryan didn't just change his life, he was changing an entire community's mindset. Cut to a series of shots. People from all walks of life coming together, helping each other, inspired by Ryan and Laura's example. Narrator 2. It wasn't just the people they helped who were changing. The community around them was evolving, too. Ryan and Laura became symbols of how a single act of kindness could set off a chain reaction of transformation. It was no longer about the labels people carried. It was about the impact they had on others' lives. Cut to a moment where Sarah, the ex-fiancée, visits the community center. She looks different now, softer, reflective, and perhaps even remorseful. Narrator 2. As for Sarah, she was on her own journey. The wedding had been a turning point for her too. After seeing the way Ryan had transformed, She realized that her focus on superficial success had left her with an emptiness she couldn't fill. She came to the community center, not as the woman who once held Ryan's heart, but as someone searching for something deeper. Sarah and Ryan meet in the center's garden. They sit down together, sharing a quiet moment. Sarah softly, "I've been thinking about everything about what you said. I didn't understand then, but I see it now. I see what you found with Laura. It's what I've been looking for my entire life." Ryan looks at Sarah, his expression calm but understanding. He knows they are no longer on the same path. Ryan, smiling gently, "I hope you find it, Sarah. I really do. But what I found this life, it wasn't about searching for the right person. It was about becoming the right person. I hope you get there." Sarah nods, her eyes filled with tears as she stands up to leave, giving Ryan a final smile before walking away. Narrator you. Ryan and Sarah's chapter had closed, but it wasn't an end. It was a shift. Ryan had found something far greater than he had ever imagined. And so had Sarah, in her own way. Cut to a scene where Ryan and Laura are sitting on a bench, looking at a newly built shelter they helped create together, smiling as they watch families moving in. Narrator, you. Together, Ryan and Laura had built something far more meaningful than wealth ever could. A community, a purpose, and a life they could be proud of. It wasn't about being perfect or having it all. It was about the lives they touched and the love they gave freely, without expectation. Scene transitions to Ryan and Laura walking hand in hand down a quiet street at sunset, their faces serene and content. They're not looking for anything. They've already found it. Narrator, you. Sometimes, the most unexpected people can change the course of your life. Ryan never thought he'd find happiness with Laura, someone who, by the world's standards, had so little. But in the end, it was exactly what he needed. And together, they proved that true wealth is found in the heart, not the bank account. The camera pulls away, showing Ryan and Laura walking into the distance, the setting sun painting a golden glow around them. Narrator, you. So, what do you think? Was Ryan's journey of transformation a fairy tale, or something far more real? Let us know in the comments below. And remember, sometimes the best stories are the ones we never expect. Narrator, you. As Ryan and Laura's work continued to touch more lives, their story didn't just change their own paths, it inspired others to take action, too. They weren't looking for recognition, but sometimes, when you lead with kindness, the world notices. Cut to a close-up of Laura, who looks overwhelmed but grateful as she accepts a small plaque from a local leader. Local leader, smiling, "On behalf of the community, we want to thank Ryan and Laura for their unwavering dedication. Your commitment has not only provided shelter and support to those in need, but it has given us all a reason to hope again." Narrator, you. In that moment, Laura and Ryan understood something profound. They had already received the greatest reward. It wasn't the applause or the recognition. It was the change they had created in the lives of the people around them. Cut to a montage of the homeless shelter now thriving, with families finding stability, children going to school, and former residents giving back by volunteering. The atmosphere is filled with warmth and hope. Narrator, you. Thanks to Ryan and Laura, the shelter wasn't just a place to sleep. It had become a place of transformation. People weren't just surviving. They were rebuilding their lives, finding work, pursuing dreams. And it all started with a small act of kindness that rippled through the community. The camera cuts to a moment where a former resident of the shelter, now employed and stable, speaks to Ryan and Laura at the community center. Former resident, gratefully, "I don't know where I'd be if you two hadn't taken the time to believe in me. You didn't just give me a roof over my head, you gave me a chance. And now, I'm living a life I never thought possible." Narrator, you. Ryan and Laura hadn't just changed one life. They had sparked a movement of hope and resilience. People didn't just see them as a couple. They saw them as symbols of what's possible when you lead with love and selflessness. Cut to a quiet moment at the shelter, where Ryan and Laura are sitting outside, watching a group of children playing. They're talking, reflecting on how far they've come. Ryan, reflectively, "You know, Laura, I never imagined that this is where I'd end up. but I wouldn't trade it for anything. This is the life I was meant to live. I've never felt more fulfilled. Laura, smiling softly. I think we all have our own journey to find. I never thought my life would take me here either. But maybe that's the beauty of it. You don't always need to know where you're going as long as you're going in the right direction. Narrator, It wasn't just a change in Ryan's life. It was a transformation of the soul. The wealth he had once craved no longer held the same appeal. He had found something far more precious: the joy of giving, the reward of helping others, and the realization that life's true richness comes not from what you have, but from what you give. Cut to Sarah, now visiting the shelter. She's volunteering, helping to organize food and resources for the families. She looks different, less focused on herself and more focused on serving others. Narrator, Sarah had also found her own path. She had spent so long chasing success and recognition, but after witnessing the impact Ryan and Laura had made, she knew that she, too, needed to change. She started volunteering at the shelter, offering her skills and supporting the community that Ryan and Laura had built. Sarah approaches Laura, standing together by the food bank, and they share a quiet conversation. Sarah, smiling warmly. I never expected to be here, Laura, but I've learned so much. You and Ryan taught me that it's not about what you have, but what you give. Thank you for showing me that. Laura, nodding. It's never too late to change. We all have a story, and it's never the ending. It's the chapters we choose to write next. Narrator, Sarah had found her own redemption, not in chasing after what she once thought was success, but in giving back, in making a difference. And like Ryan and Laura, she too had found that the greatest wealth comes from within. Cut to Ryan and Laura standing on the steps of the community center, looking out over the busy streets. They exchange a look, knowing that their journey is far from over. Narrator, Ryan and Laura's story didn't end with the shelter. It had only just begun. The community they had built was alive, and the impact of their love and kindness would continue to echo for years to come. Final scene of Ryan and Laura, walking hand in hand into the sunset once again, this time surrounded by families and volunteers who are all a part of the new life they've created. Narrator, Sometimes the most unexpected paths lead us to the greatest destinations. Ryan and Laura had learned that love isn't about finding someone to complete you, it's about finding someone who makes you want to be better. And together, they were creating a legacy that would inspire generations to come. Screen fades to black. Text appears. True love isn't measured by what we own, but by what we give. Narrator, As time passed, the community center became more than just a shelter. It had become a beacon of hope. Ryan and Laura knew that the real work had just begun. Every day brought new challenges, but also new opportunities to change lives, to touch hearts, and to continue building a future they could be proud of. Cut to a group of volunteers, including families, children, and elderly individuals, working together to sort donations and set up a free community market. The energy is positive, and everyone is working as one. Narrator, Ryan and Laura had created a ripple effect of kindness, but the impact was even greater than they imagined. People who once felt forgotten, isolated, or unworthy had found a sense of belonging and purpose here. They weren't just getting help, they were giving it too. The community had become a family. Cut to a scene where Ryan is teaching a small group of young people how to write resumes and prepare for job interviews. Laura is seen working with children, helping them with school projects and reading stories. Narrator, The lessons Ryan and Laura taught weren't just about survival, they were about empowerment. They helped people discover their own strengths, build new skills, and take control of their future. This wasn't just a shelter. It was a place for people to rebuild their confidence and hope. Cut to Sarah, now leading a support group session for single mothers at the community center. She's sitting with a group of women, listening intently, offering advice and guidance. Narrator, Sarah, too, had found her place. Once lost in the pursuit of material success, she had finally embraced a life of service. Working with women who faced the challenges she once ignored, Sarah found deep satisfaction in helping others heal, just as she had begun to heal herself. Cut to Sarah in a quiet moment after the session, speaking with Ryan and Laura. Her face shows gratitude and a new sense of purpose. Sarah, smiling with sincerity, I never imagined this would be my life. Helping others, it's more fulfilling than I could have ever imagined. I've learned that my value doesn't come from what I can buy, but from the difference I can make in someone's life. Ryan, nodding in agreement. You've come so far, Sarah. I'm proud of the journey you're on. We all have our own paths to walk, and you're walking yours with purpose now. Narrator, Sarah's transformation had been just as remarkable as Ryan and Laura's. The love and kindness she had once overlooked were now the foundation of her own purpose. And in her eyes, the world no longer seemed like a place to compete in, it was a place to lift each other up. Cut to a scene later in the day. The community center hosts a large gathering, with food, music, and people from all walks of life celebrating together. Narrator, life wasn't always easy. The road to creating lasting change was filled with obstacles. But at moments like these, surrounded by the people they had helped and who had helped them, Ryan, Laura, and Sarah knew that they were exactly where they needed to be. The camera pans over the celebration, showing people dancing, laughing, and sharing stories. Ryan and Laura stand together, looking out at the crowd with pride, knowing that their journey had made a tangible difference. Narrator, even the smallest acts of kindness could grow into something beautiful. Ryan had once believed that success meant wealth and status. But now, he knew the real measure of success was the love and impact you leave behind. Cut to a quieter moment, where Ryan, Laura, and Sarah stand outside, watching the sunset together. They share a peaceful silence, each reflecting on their individual journeys. Laura softly, we never could have imagined how far this would go when we first started. We were just trying to help one person, and now we've helped so many more. Ryan smiling, the funny thing is, I thought I was helping others. But the truth is, we've all helped each other. Narrator, And so, as the sun set on another day of transformation, Ryan, Laura, and Sarah had come to understand something that would stay with them forever. Life isn't about finding the perfect circumstances, it's about creating them. It's about the love, care, and effort we put into others' lives that shapes the world we live in. Cut to a final montage of the community center's ongoing efforts. New programs being set up, people volunteering, children attending school, families moving into their own homes, and the smiles of those whose lives had been changed. Narrator, The story of Ryan, Laura, and Sarah didn't end here. It wasn't just a story of transformation, it was a story of the human spirit. A reminder that no matter where we start, we all have the ability to change, to grow, and to make a difference. Because sometimes, all it takes is one act of kindness to change the course of someone's life, and, in turn, change the world. Narrator, As time went on, Ryan, Laura, and Sarah's work continued to evolve. The community center that had once been a humble place for survival had now become a hub for growth, education, and opportunity. They had not only transformed lives, they had created a future for many who once thought there was none. Cut to Ryan and Laura talking with local business owners. They are discussing new initiatives to provide job training and apprenticeship programs to help residents find sustainable work. Ryan enthusiastically, this isn't just about providing resources. It's about giving people the skills and confidence they need to thrive. The next step is providing real job opportunities for those who want to get back on their feet. Business owner, nodding in agreement. I'm all in. If we want to create long-term change, we need to invest in our community. We're not just helping people, we're empowering them. Narrator, Ryan's vision had expanded. What started as a simple desire to help people now had a larger goal, to build a self-sustaining community. His partnership with local businesses and organizations led to apprenticeship programs, job fairs, and training workshops that would give residents the tools they needed to succeed. Cut to a classroom inside the new building. Laura is teaching a class on financial literacy. The students are a mix of adults and young people, all focused and engaged. The camera focuses on a young woman taking notes, her face determined. Narrator, Laura, too, had found a way to extend her reach. She understood the importance of education, not just academic education, but life skills. The workshops she organized taught everything from budgeting to communication skills, empowering people with the knowledge they needed to take control of their financial futures. Cut to the young woman from the class, now at a job interview in a local office building. She is dressed professionally, smiling nervously but confidently as she shakes hands with the interviewer. Narrator: People like this young woman, who had once struggled to even imagine a future, were now stepping into careers and opportunities they had never thought possible. With the support of Ryan, Laura, and the community, they were beginning to see their dreams unfold before them. Cut to Sarah, now leading a new initiative for mental health support. She's speaking with a therapist and a group of individuals, creating a space for people to talk about their struggles, heal, and grow. The room is filled with people sharing, comforting, and supporting each other. Sarah, gently: It's okay to not have all the answers right now. What's important is that you take that first step, and we're here to help each other along the way. Narrator: Sarah's journey of healing had not only transformed her own life, it had inspired her to create a safe space for others to heal, too. Mental health had always been a stigma in the community, but Sarah, with her own experiences, helped break that silence, guiding others toward recovery, self-acceptance, and resilience. Cut to a touching moment where Sarah is talking with someone who had been struggling with addiction. The person hugs her, clearly thankful for the support and guidance she's provided. Sarah, smiling softly: We all have our struggles, but you don't have to go through them alone. Narrator: As Sarah's support groups grew, so did the healing of the community. What had once been hidden in the shadows was now coming into the light. The stigma surrounding addiction, trauma, and mental health was fading as more people began to seek help and embrace their own healing journeys. Cut to Ryan, Laura, and Sarah standing outside the newly completed building, overlooking a large event in the courtyard. It's a grand opening ceremony, with community members, volunteers, and supporters gathered in celebration. There's music, food, and laughter filling the air. Narrator: From humble beginnings, Ryan, Laura, and Sarah had built something extraordinary. This wasn't just a community center, it was a testament to the power of love, kindness, and resilience. It was a place where dreams were no longer just dreams. They were becoming reality. Camera zooms in on Ryan and Laura, holding hands as they watch the celebration unfold. The smile on their faces reflects the pride and fulfillment they feel. Ryan softly to Laura: We've come a long way, haven't we? Laura, smiling, looking out at the crowd: We have. But this is just the beginning. There's so much more we can do. Narrator: The work was never finished. With every new milestone, new opportunities arose. Ryan, Laura, and Sarah knew that there would always be more to do, more people to help, and more lives to touch. They had learned that when you create a life of purpose, you never stop growing. And in doing so, you never stop changing the world. Cut to a final shot of the community center, now a symbol of hope and progress. The camera pans up to the sky as the sun sets behind the building, casting a warm golden glow over the scene. Narrator: Because in the end, the greatest gift we can give to others is the chance to believe in themselves. Ryan, Laura, and Sarah had not only transformed lives, they had built a future, one act of kindness at a time. Screen fades to black. The words, "True transformation begins with one step." What's your next step? Appear on the screen. Narrator: If you've been inspired by their journey, let us know how you plan to make a difference in your own community. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more stories that remind us of the power of change, love, and kindness. End screen with social media links. Subscribe for more heartwarming stories and a call to action encouraging viewers to share their own stories of transformation.